Hello, everybody. This is Gary Kay, and you are watching a special edition of my Rants and Raves podcast. And I am joined by a familiar face, Steve Vander Meulen, who's the Vice President of Nureva. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Great, Gary. Thanks. How are you?
Good. Before each major trade show, it seems like we're touching base because you're always launching new stuff. And this show at ISE in less than 2 weeks is going to be not only your second time going to the show, but you're going to be launching a bunch of new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking forward to these events because, as you say, we're not resting in any way here at Nureva. We're looking to bring our solution and the value that we offer with our stuff to a range of different use cases and environments. So, broadening what we have so that everybody can benefit from the kind of collaboration we want to bring to the market is kind of the focus of what we're all about right now.
Well, I got a sneak preview of what you're going to talk about today, and one of the things that I think is going to be most exciting is you're going to launch a brand new wall mount projector. Talk about that.
Absolutely. So we started with a very wide aspect ratio panoramic projector, a 16 by 6 aspect ratio that gave 10 feet wide image. And that's because the style of collaboration that we support with our solution and our software is requiring a very immersive type of an experience. But we've also found that in higher resolution applications like design work where people are looking at very detailed renderings of packaging or very detailed renderings of building design, that higher resolution is becoming very important. And so we've brought a new projector to market. It's called the WM307i, and it's a 1080p projector. Same solid state illuminated approach and same engine that we use through all of our systems. It will be a slightly different aspect ratio. It's 16 by 9, which means the image size will be a little less wide. But like with any of our systems, you can pair multiple displays together to create a range of different configurations, from extremely wide panoramic to corners or even surround systems as well.
Yeah, and the way your software works, it works on any resolution, basically, so it doesn't really matter what the aspect ratio is. It's still going to seamlessly fit into your span software.
Absolutely. Our software is designed to not only work ideally with our own projectors and our own hardware products, but with any display for that matter. So we've been very careful to ensure that we aren't putting a situation in place where our customers can't use existing hardware that they might have in the room. We want the exposure to span software to be as ubiquitous as it can be, but of course working most optimally with our own hardware.
And last year at ISE, I was fortunate enough to be invited into your sort of whisper suite, secret suite that you had there, and you showed for the first time, you showed the cart. And at InfoComm, you actually officially launched it. But this will be, I believe, the first time it's actually shown in Europe officially, right?
Officially, yes. This is our first opportunity to bring the mobile cart system to Europe. We've also recently announced it as a product that will be available for education. So that'll be a first there as well. And the mobile cart is really an interesting product. It's the kind of solution where it's a perfect fit for environments that we're seeing more and more often, which are very open collaborative spaces, where it's more difficult to fix to any kind of wall, either a flat panel or an interactive projection system. So these carts come in and they work ideally in any type of configuration that they want. And again, they can be paired so you can get as much space as 18 feet to create, in essence, the same style of work that you would have in traditional collaboration spaces, but anywhere you need it. So it's a very interesting product, and it's being very well received by a lot of very creative use cases. So we're excited to bring that to Europe as well.
And the way it's designed, you just push it up against the wall, turn it on, you can start using it. You don't have to align it or anything like that.
Yeah,
turn it on.
It's amazing. You plug it in, turn it on, and it'll connect to the span environment as soon as we call it near instant on because it's there is a bit of a warm up process, but it's apart from that, it's ready to go and there's no orientation. As you can imagine, when you're one of the reasons we like to fix projectors to the ceiling is so that the image stays aligned and where you need it. Bumping and moving can throw keystoning into the mix and whatever. But with the way we've designed the cart, you can just put it up against the wall. You never have to worry about orienting the touch or the image. It's all pre-calibrated for you.
Yeah, one of the big sort of trends that we've seen in the market over the last year and a half has been this sort of wireless collaboration trend, for lack of a better term. And I know you're addressing that now with some of the new wireless functionality of your product. Can you talk a little bit about that, and will you be demonstrating that at ISE?
Yeah, well, we actually have a new release of software that has a feature in it that we're calling Quick Share, and it's because there is just so much mobile device participation and collaboration compared to any time in the past that we've seen. And so what this is going to let customers do is, in a facilitated session or in a group session inside of a collaborative room, bring in their mobile devices, particularly their phones, tablets as well, and without having to download applications or without having to even have a subscription, they can now access the SPAN canvas and contribute images, notes, and what's more, they can now use dictation as a way of creating the notes through their spoken words versus their typed words, which is really handy when you're dealing with smaller form factor devices like a mobile phone.
So do you just log into the meeting number, or how does that work? I mean, you said that you don't have to have it. Okay, that's how it works. Okay.
Yeah, well, the canvas, when the facilitator is ready to introduce that feature and bring the input in from the audience, they'll turn on the Quick Share feature. And what that does is it creates an access code on the screen for everybody to see. And they simply type that access code into a web page, and that brings them in directly into that session. And it's a very simple interface. There's not a lot of complexity there because it's streamlined to just the purpose of either dictating or typing in sticky notes and images.
And is it OS agnostic, so regardless of what kind of mobile device or operating system you're using, it works?
Correct. It's because it's just simply accessing a web page, so there's no download or no app that you're required. Just bring up any browser on your supported phone and type in that access code, and you're good to go. Okay.
And then the product that impressed me the most at InfoComm that you guys had in your booth this year was the HDL 300. And for those people that don't know what it is, I know this will be the first time that it's being shown at ISE, and it launched you guys into a new segment of the market and sort of revolutionized small meeting room audio. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. The HDL 300 is taking just a bit different of an approach to how we do pickup compared to more traditional systems. We are introducing what we call microphone mist, and that's simply a technology approach that floods the room with over 8,100 virtual microphones. And our approach is to listen to every single one of those microphones at all times, and that way we're not switching between different mics as we determine the focal point of the audio. Instead, we just subtly adapt the focus range from those virtual mics, which are the intended sound source, and it creates a much more seamless and natural environment. And the pickup's phenomenal, whether your back's turned to the mic or you're sitting in a corner or wherever you might be roaming around the room. It's going to be ideal for that sitting. We're looking at collaboration in a very active way. We want to see people up and about, working on interactive surfaces, interacting with their content, and the audio systems have to be as mobile as the people are when they work. So the HDL 300 is going to be ideal for that. And yeah, we're excited to bring it to Europe at ISE.
And I actually spoke to Nancy last week about this, and I understand that a lot of countries you've sort of ferreted out your distribution network and your dealer network, but you'll be kind of going there looking for dealers and distributors of both products. In other words, not everybody does audio, and not everybody's going to do the span, so you sort of have kind of two different distribution chains going at or distribution channels going at the same time. So I know that there's an opportunity for anybody who is, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but looking to become a dealer or distributor to at least come to your stand and talk to you about that, right?
Absolutely. We're always looking for motivated resellers and distributors who share our values and share the view of collaboration that we have. The demand for the HDL 300 in particular has been extremely high before we've even made the product available. There's a list of people interested in getting the product in use. And that goes also with channel interest. It's been very high. But, by no means are we at a point where our channel has fully covered Western Europe or North America. So, of course, we're very interested in having those conversations.
So you're going to be in Hall 13, stand E70. Of course, you can check out Nureva at nureva.com. That's NUREVA.com. Steve, I really appreciate you joining me because I know you're busy. We're all going to ISE here in the next couple of days, so I appreciate you taking the time, and you're going to have a busy stand this year since people are familiar with you, whereas last year it was sort of a launch into the market. This is sort of they're going to know who you are, and they're going to want to come see you. So, again, Hall 13, stand E70.
That's good. Thanks, Gary. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
You too. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on today's Rants and Raves.